everybody. My name is Svetlana Tsushko. I'm a product manager for SUSE Liberty Linux, and I'm really excited to walk you through our service and I would say its relevance in ever-changing market landscape. Because as we know, with the end of CentOS and RHEL 7, it's really time to choose. And if you're running CentOS or RHEL 7, in production, you know that your security and your compliance is at risk, but migrating to new operating system can be risky all in itself. SUSE Liberty Linux requires zero migration effort and allows you and your team to continue to work on your existing workloads. So we'll discuss the benefits of SUSE Liberty Linux, and I will provide you insights into how you and your team, how Liberty really does give your team back the Linux freedom. So today, we'll first explore what SUSE Liberty Linux is and its key advantages. Next, we will compare it with other Linux distribution to highlight its main differences. Trust in SUSE comes from extensive multi-distro experience, the extensive experience in that. So we'll try, I will discuss why SUSE is a reliable choice. Transition to Liberty is really straightforward. I will outline the steps and resources available to make this process smooth. Then compatibility with I don't know where to stand. It's too close to me. So I will, use my monitor. Compatibility with Enterprise Linux is crucial. We'll look at how SUSE Liberty Linux ensures the compatibility and maintains it through the rigorous processes. Then I will touch on the technical details, and I will provide the brief overview of the specification of the system requirements. And of course, it's a fun time, it's demo time. We'll dive deep into how SUSE Liberty Linux really works. We'll see it in action. And explore real-world use cases with that. And finally, we'll dive into the release cycle, into the SUSE Liberty Linux support strategy and future roadmap, as well as the actual offering. So let's begin. So as you know, probably some of you know, SUSE has been around for quite some time. It was founded in 1992, and in 1996, the first distribution for SUSE was released. So we, as a company, we have got the enormous partnership with SAP, one of the world's most complicated workloads, and it's been certified and running on the SUSE Linux Enterprise server for a very long time. So we made this certain enhancement that favored SAP workload, among other things. So it was the thing. Equally, we partnered with IBM, with Oracle. And in year 2000, as I mentioned, SUSE Linux Enterprise Server was released. And from then on, we continued to innovate with the open source distribution called OpenSUSE. We adopted multiple of hypervisors. First was Xen in 2007. Then 2 years later, in 2009, it was KVM. And one of the key things I want to really highlight here, that we released something that was really special to open source community, which is called Open Build Service. And it's a very significant thing, I would say, because we not only provide something valuable to the open source community, but we also we offer it also to the world our tools, so other companies can also do the same work as SUSE does, and to do this consistent, reliable, in a secure manner. In 2014, as you can see, SUSE Manager was released, and it's really the management distribution focused on the infrastructure management for all kinds of Linux estates. So not only for SUSE Liberty, SUSE Enterprise, but also for Red Hat, also for CentOS, also for Ubuntu. And from then on, we continue on the container management, or enterprise container management is called Rancher, which was acquired in 2020, and the other company, the security company NeuVector, in 2022. Was acquired in open source, and lately, a year ago in 2023, we partnered with a couple of companies to protect and ensure the basically the source code ecosystem for Red Hat Enterprise Linux to continue to be available when Red Hat basically decided to change the rules of the open source game. Let's put it this way. So. The power of open source, if we just think about it in this one sentence, companies that compete SUSE, like Red Hat, Canonical, and so forth, we also collaborate in the upstream community. So we really follow this statement, which is saying on the website of probably one of the biggest open source organization, which is called OSI, which stands for Open Source Initiative. And it's basically the statement about what open source is. And one of the key things that they mention is that the license shall not restrict any party from selling or giving away the software as a component of an aggregate distribution of programs. So key part here is that shall not restrict any party from selling or giving away. So with all that being said, freedom to distribute, freedom to modify, freedom to share is here. However, things have been changing as of late and not in favor with open source, with basically the open source spirit. In 2014, CentOS, which was a downstream distribution for Red Hat Enterprise Linux, was acquired by Red Hat. In 2018, IBM acquired Red Hat, and 2 years later, we saw the end of CentOS as a downstream distribution being available. And a year ago, in June 2023, Red Hat made changes to its subscription agreement, which is the piece of material where which customers sign up for the services that they get. And in that, they now reduce the availability of source code for Red Hat Enterprise Linux to only paying customers, so no longer sharing it with the open source community. And this is obviously the bad thing. This is not in spirit with open source definition, with that statement that I just shared with you. So yeah, it was really against all of that open source spirit. So what happened? Since then, it's been a big thing. SUSE announced that we would fork the existing Red Hat code base, so branch off the entire copy and continue to iterate on that. So it will be basically the base for SUSE Liberty Linux. So we created together with Oracle, together with CAQ, what we called OpenELA, or sometimes guys say OpenELA, as you prefer. So it's a trade association in which we bring that source code together, and we commit to maintaining the source code going forward, keeping it as a source, as a binary compatibility repository for Enterprise Linux. So OpenELA is focused on version 7, 8, and 9. We started with 9, working our way back. But in general, the project is really basically ensures the availability of source code, and like to the community indefinitely. So this is, I would say, really a big thing. This is a good thing because multiple vendors decided to step up and to protect the open source ecosystem. What? Basically, as a customer, you might be thinking that, okay, guys, you protected the source code, good job, but it doesn't change that much for me. Well, I think that it probably does, because this is, the part of this carefully orchestrated plan and timeline made by Red Hat, the IBM side, that you really need to think about it. Because as you can see here on this slide, that this date, the end of June, it's just really coming. It's really close, which is emerging here. As I said, that CentOS and RHEL 7 are going to be in their final phase of life. So it means that no more patches, no more security updates are going to be available by anyone in that. And remember that CentOS is a downstream for RHEL 7, so RHEL 7 will obviously go into long life mode, and you can pay Red Hat reasonably high fees for that if you choose to go down this path. But literally, it's like the moment in life where you need to stop and to think whether you have other choices. Do I really stick with the options that I have, and to, like convert all my estates to Red Hat, like bye-bye CentOS, paying Red Hat more money, or I have some other options to consider? And that is where SUSE Liberty Linux steps into the game and really offers the seamless approach, because customers can basically continue using the existing CentOS or RHEL, but while doing so, they can benefit from patches, from security updates, and support from SUSE. So SUSE Liberty Linux, what is that? Is the technology that lets you get uninterrupted support and security patches for CentOS and RHEL with no migration needed to serve your multi-distro environment. So let's just go through why to choose SUSE Liberty Linux. And as I mentioned before, this date, 30th of June, which is coming, it's something important. Sounds like it's something important because it was emerging like with this in this red bold color, but it's just another day, so it doesn't really make a change, right? It doesn't change a thing. Think about this like phone number portability from your cell phone. You just keep your number, but you're going to change the subscription provider. And the other subscription provider could be us, SUSE. So you'll gain the long life support, which we called LTSS in SUSE. So basically, we'll continue to provide proactive updates for your CentOS 7 installation, so life doesn't really stop here. So if there is a security update that needs to be applied for your code for CentOS, we will make the security enhancement upstream through OpenALA, and we will compile, apply, and distribute a patch for you to apply to your system. So ensuring that CentOS 7 remains up to date. We will do the same thing for Red Hat Enterprise Linux, but you actually have a choice whether to stay only on CentOS or RHEL, or you will go both, but you really decide. And yeah, as you can see, it's fully compatible, so it doesn't have any disruption on your system because there is no migration required, no migration needed. And yeah, we've trained our people to provide enterprise-grade support for RHEL 7 and 9. And then we can provide you a better management, as I just touched this topic already with SUSE Manager. It's, the single pane of glass is truly designed with the multi-distro in mind and providing lifecycle management capabilities consistently across these environments. And I would love you to show you what is that if we overcome the technical details, actually. But actually, I can see my colleague here, Miguel. So actually, we have the Liberty booth here and the SUSE Manager booth. So it also would be possible to enjoy the live demo if you're interested. Yeah, so you might be thinking SUSE cannot be possibly have the experience to support Red Hat servers. But in fact, the complete opposite is true. Not only, as I said, SUSE does have this experience for in a Linux enterprise for 30 plus years, but we've been supporting RHEL since RHEL 5, and for now, as of now, it's more than 16 years. And if you need any help with transition to Liberty, you as a new customer, for example, our consulting team also available. So in fact, we have these 3 offerings that are specific for customers new to Liberty, so the Onboard, Automate, and Automate Plus. So Onboard ensures the seamless transition to the proper channels to your Liberty updates. So SUSE consultants will also perform a validation and check health of your current infrastructure. Automate provides onboarding and validation of Liberty repositories. So with this kind of offering, our consultants will implement and configure SUSE Manager configuration for your business. And with Automate Plus, apparently it consists of onboard and automate features. So yeah, includes the validation of Liberty repositories, implementation of SUSE Manager configuration for your business, and on top of that, advanced automation and monitoring to maintain security and compliance. So let's shift a bit our gears and talk about the options that you have with, for example, other Linux distribution if you go down this path. But yeah, let's just do a quick recap with what we have just been talking about why SUSE Liberty. So let's just dive into real difference between Liberty and other distributions if you would go to. So first is the most important is that transition is not a migration or an upgrade, it's transition. So you just switching the carriers to a new provider. Also, yeah, proactive updates for your Enterprise Linux 7, 8, and 9. Yeah, you have basically the power to decide when to make a move, because we are in sync with the RHEL life cycle, so you will be on the same life cycle as RHEL, and often it's extended to 13 years with LTSS option. And yeah, with the SUSE Liberty, with SUSE Manager, as I said, SUSE really honors this pledge, as we said, that we make Linux, we manage many. So we do that with SUSE Manager. So we automate patching and updates for like 16 distributions, including, of course, all the variation of Enterprise Linux. And it's all being done from a single console. Moreover, we provide fully compatibility on the ABI level, the application binary interface. And yeah, not forget about what great support from SUSE. So from RHEL to 9, SUSE definitely has your back. So let's just look at this diagram, this chart. And it shows how SUSE Liberty Linux compares to other options. In this case, it's Rocky Linux and Alma Linux. I would say that 2 important things to note here, that with Liberty Linux, there is no migration or updates. And it's like, as I said, the switching carriers, you just keep in your phone number. And with addition of SUSE Manager, you can manage over 16 different Linux distributions from a single console, including the SUSE Liberty Linux. And if to look at this chart where we compare Debian and Ubuntu to SUSE Liberty Linux, in this case, again, there is no migration needed on the Liberty side versus a full migration with Debian and Ubuntu. And additionally, both Debian and Ubuntu, there is no tool that helps you migrate. Also with Liberty Linux, you get full support from a leader in Enterprise Linux, for Enterprise Linux distribution, who's been in business, as we remember, since 1992. Whereas with Debian, for example, you only get community support, and with Ubuntu, you've got a support from Canonical, which who's been in business for like less for 12 years less than SUSE. Okay, so we already touched on this topic multiple times, SUSE Manager, the multi-Linux. So you already know that maintaining your infrastructure, the security and compliance for your entire Linux estate and mixed Linux estate, and do it automatically from a single console is real. And here we have this SUSE Manager, and it's the product that's been around for like 10 years, I guess. It was originally designed for patch management, and it's the ability really to automate a lot of things within your Linux estate. And the idea from a patch management perspective is that you could group a bunch of systems together, and you might say, well, like, it's our development environment, we'll patch those as a group. And you can roll that patch, upgrade and test, and then production. So it's like the full cycle concept. But as you can see from this diagram, on the left-hand side, that we've got so much more than that. So with the SUSE Manager, you can do provisioning, you can do image build. So it's really rich functional product designed to manage a full Linux estate. And it's very typical that, for example, customers can have 50, 100, 1,000, 10,000 systems, and you need to be able to manage this simultaneously, and SUSE is basically designed to do so. And I think the really important thing to mention here, as I already said, that with the SUSE Manager, you can not only manage the SUSE Linux, as you can see, as I already mentioned, it's about like 16 Linux distribution in this area. And the other thing is that from the system configuration perspective, that SUSE Manager used the SALT formula. With this kind of formula, you can convert your existing CentOS and RHEL to SUSE Liberty Linux, and it doesn't really take much time. And I will go, hopefully, I will go with some sort of presentation on how it works, basically, in a little while. Okay, so let's now drill more a bit into detail, into the technical details, into how SUSE Liberty really works. So you know, it's actually really, really simple. So you've got your existing CentOS estate. It's as simple as you point your operating system to SUSE Liberty Linux channels, run an upgrade script, and then you just call SUSE for support. It's actually as easy as that. And here in this diagram, we will go into it in a little bit more detail in a bit. But as you can see, it's very similar on the right-hand side. It's very similar on the left-hand side. So we've just effectively changing some of the metadata of the operating system. But let's just talk for a couple of minutes about how we can maintain, how we can support other Linux distributions with SUSE Liberty Linux. So clearly, SUSE has been doing this for quite some time. We've got this pedigree around open source side of things. And the reality is that if you look at the Linux code, the Linux distribution, pretty much of it, it's the community effort. It's something that's maintained by the community. So we don't really own the code. We might contribute to the code, but we don't own it. Nor do the Red Hat, so that's the really art of this, of the concept of open source. And so, you know, we are as an organization the same as Red Hat and many others package the various packages, produce the distribution, and as you can see, 140 plus packages. So there is lots and lots of different packages that we, Red Hat, that we are curating those packages and providing something that makes sense to the enterprise world. And apart from the packaging, we also do a lot of development. So we've got a lot of engineers to do so. So we are jointly working on the Linux kernel with the various different packages that we curate. And yeah, in addition to that, we provide support. So in a very similar way as Red Hat, to that Red Hat supply, we provide support for their packages and distributions. So now we're basically doing the same. So the concept is really, really simple. And the idea is that we do find some problem, and we may provide a fix for this problem, or we may ask the community to help us with a fix. But really, it's down to the community to decide what's going and what doesn't do so. So it's really much of the community effort. So as I said before, we don't really own the code. We don't have rights for the software because it's open source. It's very much of the community effort. So yeah, as you can see on the diagram, we are trying to show that Red Hat and ourselves, we are doing a very similar job, and clearly we've been doing it for quite some time, 30 plus years, as I said. So in this approach, as you can see, it's really straightforward. So to us, like the organization, to support the likes of CentOS and RHEL as well. And yeah, quite an important question. You might be wondering, how do we maintain the compatibility? What we are doing in Liberty, that we are guaranteeing that we provide, as I already mentioned, the ABI compatibility. So the idea is that any application that would be running on top of Liberty will be having the same interface into operating system, into hardware, as they would with CentOS or RHEL. So that's something that that we really work hard on doing so, and we've been doing it for quite some time. So we do the same for SLES, for SUSE Linux, Enterprise Linux, and it's been for like 30 years from now. So apparently that we've got the expertise, and therefore we've got the tools, the analysis to be able to do so, to be able to test it. So yeah, this way we make sure that this is compatible. And clearly, as we do this for SLES, we take the similar approach to SUSE Liberty Linux. So it's not really like a challenge for us. It's more of what we do, but just for different distribution. So let's dive more into the inner kitchen of Liberty and get some technical details around this. So how we build Liberty Linux. So this diagram talks how we basically build the Liberty Linux as obviously we no longer have access, direct access to Red Hat source code because it's been turned off, and that's one of the reasons why I talked about OpenELA organization that we co-founded. We take input from OpenELA. There is a repository of these forks, and with the conjunction of the likes of the Oracle, CIQ, we take some code from there. And as you can see on the left-hand side, for you it's for right-hand side, we also got some other parts, other places where to get sources from, like CentOS Stream. We still got the access there. Obviously, that's like the open source project that led by Red Hat from a Central Stream perspective, so we still got access to that. So yeah, we take sources from those places, and then we build. And the idea is that we try to build as close to Red Hat as possible at the end of the day. And we test against this. So we continually test in our Liberty distribution, and the way we distribute it, it's through SCC, and SCC is the SUSE Customer Center, and this is basically the software as a service, so any customer can access to it. So in fact, you just download one of the operating systems, and then we would ask you to create an account there to be able to actually do this. So there is SCC. This is basically the way for us to manage your SUSE subscription. Plus, you also have access to update all your channels for the various operating system versions. So this is basically how we build Liberty Linux. And let's see here. So here's the comparison. So we've got the RHEL 7 and Liberty 7, and we can see here that here is the qlibc package, right, the version, and we've got the same for Liberty 7. And basically what we are changing is that the packager and the vendor, these are different. So we're just changing, we're just taking the same code, and we're just changing, as I said, the metadata. So it was for RHEL 7, and this is the same basically for CentOS 7. So the qlibc package, the version is, as we can see, and we effectively changing the packager and the vendor. So yeah, it's very, very much focused on keeping this compatible from the binary interface perspective. Yeah, so this is the cockpit. So this is basically the exact code that we are just changing the not changing the metadata but the branding. We are doing like the same as Red Hat package, which is changing effectively the logo and the vendor, so it looks and performs exactly the same, because under the covers it's exactly the same code. Okay, yeah, in a nutshell, let me just describe you what salt formula is. So what it does package replacement. So all the binary code packages are basically refreshed and reinstalled all behind the scenes. So there is no functional or form change. All libraries, all function calls are going to be running exactly the same. So it's really a low impact. And yeah, let's just again dive in how it looks from the command line perspective. So here again we spun up the system in AWS. So you can see the version here, 9.3. So we've got the package that libs is here. And you can see this is pretty standard as you would do this with Red Hat, for example, installation. You will got the standard stuff that you would expect as Red Hat. So the packager and the vendor. And yeah, you run the salt formula. It doesn't really take much time. You would see this during the demo. It's like really, really fast, like, I don't know, 30 seconds or like minute. It really depends on the, of course, the workload, but it doesn't really take much time. And you can automate it and do it for thousands of systems. And yeah, once you're finished, you're looking that we have the original stuff, the Red Hat, its version. We leave it for the compatibility. And yeah, in the end of the, at the bottom, we add a string saying that now it's SUSE Liberty Linux. So yeah, we've just left the originals for the compatibility, but saying that now it's us. And yeah, as I said, package and vendor, qlibc's package, and yeah, now we can see that SUSE Liberty Linux is here for package and vendor. Okay, so let's now, it's now time to present you a bit of our roadmap, a bit of our plans, of our planned support, development lifecycle, and various releases for SUSE Liberty Linux, because it's divided between versions. So let's just get some overview for that. So as you can see, we have these releases from 6 to 9. So SUSE Liberty Linux 6, the general support ended on November 30th, 2020. And now it's in reactive LTSS, which will last to the end of this month. And after that, it will enter the extreme phase. If you're wondering what does it mean, like extreme reactive, I will leave the link to the SUSE.com, to the product page where all of this is described, all the constraints, all the support specifics, so you can familiarize yourself with that. SUSE Liberty Linux 7 general support is set to the end in the end of this month. And the LTSS is about to be by the end of June 2028. SUSE Liberty Linux 8 general support will continue until the end of May 2029. The end date is to be determined, and SUSE Liberty Linux 9 will last till the end of May 2032, and the same as with Liberty 8, the end date is to be determined. So yeah, let's just walk through the key points for our plans, what we are doing, what we plan to do. So as for now, we have the promotional SKUs, the 3-year term. for them. And actually, just like one thing, like one news, the new offering is coming tomorrow, and it's gonna be like for 1 year, so something new to us. Stay tuned, and it should be, I guess, published tomorrow at the website. Yeah, as I said, RHEL 6 will be under extreme support from July 2024 onwards. The end date is to be determined, but usually it lasts up to 3 years. Yeah, RHEL 10 support, we will consider supporting RHEL 10 once it's released, though it's not confirmed yet. Yeah, our collaborative efforts, we will continue to collaborate with our partners, with Oracle, with the CIQ within the Open ELA topic to enhance our support. And also expansion into hyperscales. We aim to expand the presence of SUSE Liberty Linux in the hyperscalers like AWS, Azure, Google Cloud Platform. And yeah, it's coming more and more often, support for other operating systems as well as for minor releases. So it will be considered dependent on the demand, depending on the options that we will need to estimate, to walk through together with the team. So also it's on our plate to take. And yeah, this is the link of our product, of our basically support policies for SUSE Liberty Linux. So you can go there and dive in what this different kind of support means. So yeah, if you have really two choices when it comes to SUSE, when it comes to SUSE Liberty Linux. So we have like these two umbrellas, maintain and modernize. So if, for example, you go maintain, what you mean that you don't need to change anything. Your CentOS distribution, you just attach your CentOS distribution to Linux, to Liberty Linux. So it's really meaning that by the end of the month, with the end of June, you don't really to do anything. You just, continue using your existing workloads, but just switching the provider. But yeah, the other option that you have is the modernize. So, of course, you might be thinking that, okay, I'm already forced to do some changes, and maybe I need to like to look at some low-hanging fruit, for example, and to maybe like to grab something that would help me modernize. And this is what our modernize umbrella is about to do. So we also have the different offerings after the, under this umbrella, the different umbrellas. So yeah, if we talk about this first option, the maintain, so we've basically talked about this option in the very beginning of the presentation while I was outlining the whys for SUSE Liberty Linux. So you just need to remember that the end of June, the 30th of June is just another day. It's just, as I said before, you just keep your number and just switch in the subscription, and you are really good. And the modernize option, if you decided to go faster than maintaining and you have to like other options, and I guess that it's where really choice starts to happen, because suddenly you have access not only to Red Hat Enterprise Linux that we maintain, or CentOS. Now you also get SUSE Linux Enterprise in the mix, which is, as I said, trusted by many critical workloads like SAP, for example. So yeah, with that, we will give you priority support, which is the highest level of support that you can get from SUSE. It's 24/7 globally. And yeah, these people like truly experts in what they are doing when it comes to Linux, and not just our Linux. Just like before, as I said, SUSE Manager is included into this, and you can do better management job within this, managing your multiple environments and life cycling them. And finally, if you check this option, you can also choose now the operating system, which is the best for your workload that you're running, and something that is really unique to this choice that SUSE offers. We don't really believe that SUSE that all workloads are designed and optimized for one Linux distribution. It's really impossible. We do believe that customers should have options, that customers should have the choice to choose the operating system, what is the best to run their workloads. So it really depends on sometimes on ISV, so they might prefer Canonical, they might prefer Ubuntu or Debian over CentOS or over RHEL, over SUSE. The thing is that we're not going to constrain that. We will really support with SUSE all the options that you choose. So yeah. SUSE, we as a company, we make Linux, we manage many. We make Kubernetes, we manage many. We make zero trust security the default across everything that we do. So at SUSE, we do really make choice happen. So this is the end of my presentation. I guess it's time for Q&A session, guys.
I think I saw the answer to my question anyway, just a confirmation. When we move from a CentOS or a RHEL to Liberty, we have to run some salt, I don't know if it's a recipe.
Salt formulas, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Miguel is just right to me. Yeah.
Does this refresh all the packages that are already installed inside the system, or does it keep whatever came from the old and do whatever it has to do?
There are two packages that, due to copyright, need to be changed. One is the Red Hat release, and the second one is Red Hat logos. Okay, those have some copyrights that need to be removed. There's the Liberty release, Real Liberty logos, that replace those. Once you have replaced that, you're good to go. Okay, the rest, I mean, it's open source. You can keep using it. However, you can replace all the packages that you have in your system with packages coming from SUSE Linux. The Liberate formula has one option in which comes by default checked to replace everything, so every package will come from SUSE. However, you can disable it, and then it will make the conversion without replacing the packages, only the two packages that I've just mentioned. What do these two packages do? One of them is maintaining the etc OS release. That is the way that the system identifies itself for third-party vendors, and the second one is all the logos that is going to be used in, for example, Cockpit, okay, to show the logo. The logo, of course, is covered with copyright. We should not be providing it, so we are providing our own logos for that use case. So that's it.
Thank you, Miguel.
A question about the operational consequences of doing the salting process at the edge. So I've seen in your presentation you only have x86-64. There's a question I was asked a few weeks back. So let's say I have an ARM or ARM64 target like AWS Gravitron version 2 or 3, right? And I have some proprietary drivers on it like, let's say, NVIDIA Bluefield. I understand this salting process would still work. What's going to happen if, how do you keep the ABI compatibility in such a situation? Or is that not public information?
Okay. I mean, I'm not managing Liberty. I'm just working with it, so I'm going to give it like a peer. Okay, don't take this. However,
yeah, I have my senior product manager. So, I guess Michal has so much more experience in that.
Thank you. So in general, well, first of all, Liberty currently is only x86-64, so that might be an easy answer, unfortunately. But when it comes to the backwards compatibility or binary compatibility, we just like recompile the kernel, so everything stays the same. So we are not adding anything, we are not removing anything. So the ABI is compatible, so any drivers should continue working after that. Should be very. Yeah, we need to recompile, like remove the branding and other copyrighted materials and other stuff, but the code stays the same. So the driver should continue working.
So the question I have, I know when you said that you were choosing the option of selecting the check mark on whether or not you wanted to replace the packages. So if I only replace those two packages to remove the logos, when I do an update, is it going to see all of the packages, or is it only going to see the latest updates? Like, so at a point, if I'm going to Liberty, right, Linux, am I going to be forced to eventually update all of those packages? Is the question.
So the thing is that you are not forced to do anything, so you can just update those two packages and be done. However, we are only releasing the new versions of those packages. So once you need a new version, you can grab the one from us. But until then, you are fine keeping on your system whatever you had before.
So it'll pick up all of those packages, though, as new.
So with the next minor release, you would eventually get all the new packages there, at least those who are released as part of that minor release. But until then, whatever stays on the system can stay just fine.
If there is any issue with a package that has been inherited from Red Hat, and we have to do some troubleshooting with SUSE, will we have to switch to the SUSE compiled package before doing anything from the support point of view, or how about that?
Since the packages are binary compatible, we do not require the immediate update. But if there is a new version available, that might obviously be the solution to that one. But in general, the support team tries to help the customer with whatever they have on the system right now without imposing anything right away. So we try to be flexible when it comes to support.
So can I install Liberty Linux, or do I have to, am I only converting an existing RHEL CentOS box to Liberty Linux?
It's about conversion. So you like having your existing CentOS estate and you converted all it to SUSE Liberty Linux.
But if I were going to be installing new CentOS machines or something,
It's not about new development, right?
Well, we do have ISO images as well.
Okay.
So that's not the primary use case, but
I guess you want everyone to either convert RHEL CentOS to Liberty or install SLES. But some people might actually want to carry on the sort of RHEL CentOS route, but doing it the Liberty way. So.
Well, yeah, we do have, yeah, as Michal said, we do have these ISOs images. So
it's an option, but it's not the primary focus.
Yeah.
So we understand that the use case might be there when you need to install a system or another one on top of the existing workloads. But yeah, we focus on the existing estate because that's the most painful right now.
I need to add one thing, as you already mentioned it. Of course, you can manage your Red Hat Enterprise Linux environment, CentOS environment, Rocky Linux environment, Alma Linux, Oracle, and SUSE Linux Enterprise Server, SUSE Linux Enterprise Micro with SUSE Manager. Okay, so if you need to keep all of these together, managed with one tool, you can always use SUSE Manager. I have to say it, I'm the SUSE Manager guy, okay?
Yeah.
So I go into a session, I have to mention it. So
I didn't
just
expect
letting
to be another way, Thank you, Miguel. Yeah, thank you. Okay, thank you very much for your attention, guys.